Good morning, folks. Catherine here with another occasional book review. It's Monday the 6th of January 2025, and a few months ago now, on different days I believe, the Radio New Zealand has occasional book reviews. If they sound good, I'd go on the library website and order them in. I remember one time, I think there were 2 copies of the book, and there's already 70 people in front. And in fact, I think with both of them there was only a couple of copies of the book, a small number of copies. For popular books, I think the library do go out and buy some more copies. And they came in a few days apart, and both of these books look brand new. There's not a mark on them, so the library might well have gone out and bought more copies. You get them for 6 weeks maximum, and they can't be renewed. Now, one of them was a biography, I guess, a non-fiction, and one was a fiction. I guess it falls in the field of what you might call fantasy. The non-fiction one, Bloody Minded by Susie Ferguson. And I think she's one of the Radio New Zealand announcers, been there for years. Her grandparents were Kiwis, and they moved to Scotland, and her father was a small boy. She details her early life, and including a lot of health problems, and a lot of problems with doctors and nurses who were quite simply shit at their job, which is a shame to say, because this is modern day times. This happened only a few years ago. She'd moved to New Zealand by the time of the Christchurch earthquake in 2011. She did say she'd had a New Zealand passport for years, and sometimes when she was a reporter in other countries where she thought New Zealanders might be looked upon more favourably than the British, she used her Kiwi passport. So she'd been in New Zealand a few years by then. The New Zealand health system is considerably better, according to our own version of the national health system. So, War, Womanhood and Finding My Voice, Bloody Minded, Susie Ferguson. I read these books at the same time, and then I'd read a few sections of each. And the one that's a fantasy, and it sounded quite good, I guess, fantasy, because it's not really science fiction as such. Cherrywood by Australian Jock Serong. Cherrywood, Jock Serong. And the story takes place over 2 different times. Involving a shipment of cherry tree wood, which seems to have something about it that's a bit special. So, Cherrywood, Jock Serong. Again, I read these within a few days, but I read them a little bit at a time, each book, and so trying to level them up so I can get them back to the library earlier than my allotted time, because I realised there could still be other people on the list behind me. So, do I recommend these books? If you're in for a mood for fantasy or for a non-fiction biography, yes, I recommend reading these books at least once. Do you need... If I had these on the bookshelf, would I read them again? Not in the near future. And just while I'm here, I don't know if they're available on Kindle or e-reader or Amazon reading thing, whatever. But something that several YouTubers have made clear recently, which a lot of people don't realise, is that they'll say like, oh, I clicked the buy now, I bought a book on the e-reader thing. No, you rented a book, and it can be withdrawn at any time. So when someone says, oh, I've paid, because I believe that e-books still cost half or 3/4 the price of a whole book. Remember, if ever there's a kerfuffle if something that Susie Ferguson isn't liked by some person and their lawyer threatens something, the publisher removes all the copies off the website, and you've heard this several times in the news. Any that haven't already been sold by the bookshops get sent back and pulped, and they'll print a new version with the changes that somebody demanded. Oh, there are actually some colour pictures in here too. Somewhere there's a the way the book's been bound, they're all together in one place. I've kept it nice and neat. As I say, it looked absolutely unmarked. I don't think it had been read even once by a librarian. I think when I got the book, they just bought it, put the library ID thing in it. And obviously I keep books absolutely as new whenever I can. So yeah, they come with my recommendation if you're in the mind for a non-fiction biography. I certainly listen to Radio New Zealand more than any other radio station, broadcast radio station. I can't place exactly which one she is, because there's sort of a handful of announcers. But anyway, and if you're in the mood for a story, it's a good story. But that's all. I'm going to get these back to the library because there's probably quite a few other people still on the waiting list, and if I can return them before their time, good. So, bloody-minded Susie Ferguson and Cherrywood Jock Serong. That's all. Check them out at your local library, or rent them on Kindle or ebook reader or whatever, being aware that when you pay for them, you're only paying to rent them until such time as they suck them back out of your library. Otherwise, buy them as actual books from your bookstore and help the authors get paid and help the publishers get paid. Alright folks, that's all. Cheers.